Well, I have a large population of women in my audience. And my population is Generation X, and they're a little bit younger, and their parents who are baby boomers. But I thought this topic of you two who walk the walk can be very relevant to all of my audience. So I want to get started, and I'll start with you, Kim. We're going to be talking about HIV. Kim, can you start me off with why is it important that HIV treatment fits into someone's lifestyle? Because we're going to talk about basically your evolution into this later.
Okay. So it's important for your experience. Well, can you repeat that one more time? I kind of got thrown off a little bit.
Well, tell me about if you have, and it's not just HIV, but that's what you're going to speak on. If you've got a debilitating disease process or diagnosis like this, how do you make it fit into your lifestyle?
Got it. So for me, I'm busy. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm a mom of a teenage 15-year-old football player. And I live in New York. We all on top of each other. I'm ripping and running. I'm also a teacher. So for me, and a business owner, so I have a lot of hats. I have to talk to my provider. Like, I have a relationship. Me and my provider, we are together. And I make that relationship work by letting them know, like, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't work for me. I need this to change. So this regimen might not work for me. How can we work around my schedule so that way I can continue my life, continue getting up and going, jumping and running around, and still be able to show up my best authentic self?
I want my audience to know Kim is from Brooklyn, New York, and she was born with HIV, and she's lived with it for most of her life, almost 40 years, so she comes well qualified to talk about that topic. Okay, I'm going to ask you. I'm sorry?
No, I said my whole life. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, your entire life. Okay. Marilyn, can I ask you, tell me about the Choose You campaign, what it's all about, and the message for people living with HIV today.
Yes, of course. So the Choose You campaign, first off, I want to thank Gilead Sciences to partner with us and give us the opportunity to share our stories. So what it is what you hear, Choose You. And so that really is for you to be the center of your treatment, for you to choose you, what works for you, and just continue living life. And HIV is not the only thing that we are. We're a lot more than that. So that's what the campaign is all about.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Kim if possible. Kim, can you tell me, you shared a little bit of your journey. How does your journey connect with this campaign?
Sure. So, like you said, I've been living with HIV for 38 years. It'll be 39 years in December. And that's my whole life. I don't know anything else other than me living with HIV. And for me to go from being told that I wasn't going to make it past 1 to then the age of 5 to then the age of 10, and for me to still be here now and live a full life. And it wasn't easy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, my life was great. It had its ups and downs, but I didn't let HIV take over my life. So with the Choose You campaign, it's really about not letting HIV run your life, not it being centered about that. It's about the person. It's about me living authentically, me being who I want to be, and then really showcasing that through this campaign.
You articulate your journey so well. Thank you, Kim. Marilyn,
No problem.
I know you're from California, and you were diagnosed at 19 while you were pregnant. Could you share a bit of your story in a synopsis format?
Yes, of course. So yes, I was 19. This week is 19 years that I've been diagnosed. Today, I lost my father a few days before the diagnosis, maybe 2-3 days before. Today is my father's death anniversary. So it's this very week, 19 years ago. And yes, I was pregnant 6 weeks. I was, deep into my drug addiction and homeless. And so I was really kind of at the end of the road. When I received the diagnosis, all I wanted to do was die. And that's what I thought I was going to do, is die. But just thinking that I was pregnant and I really needed to fight for that baby was what really kept me going. And so it's it's been 19 years. I've only been public with my diagnosis for 17. So it's only been 2 years, but I really find a lot of strength and passion in sharing my story for other women, the younger generation, because a lot of the times we think that you have to be, I don't want to say risky behavior, because it can just be anybody. It could be my sister, my brother, my mother, my father. I mean, it could be anybody, my child. You can definitely catch HIV. Like, you can get HIV. So even if you're married, even if, so it's very important that we send the message to everyone. It's not just people, doing things that are risky. Anybody can have HIV.
I want my audience to know Marilyn is from California. She's a mother of 5, and she was diagnosed with HIV at 19 years old, and she was 6 weeks pregnant with her first daughter. And a big milestone in her life, she lost her father. And when we listen to you, Marilyn, we can hear how that still cuts deep into who you are. So we express our condolences. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Kim, I would like to know, someone sitting listening right now to both of you, what can they do to minimize their risk of taking the kind of journeys you guys have had with HIV?
To minimize the risk, I think for me, my journey, everybody's life is completely different. I think that when I think of my life, I had a really good support system, which is my grandmother, which is my friends. And even though I grew up in a time where stigma was really high, and it still is high, let's not even get it twisted where it's non-existent. For me, it's just the fact that I had to stay strong and knew that who I was. And on the days when I couldn't remember who I was, I really had to write affirmations. I really had to think of, what is my goal? What do I want to be? And I tell that to my students, and I tell that to my son. It's not about what anybody else sees you as. It's who you see yourself as and who you want to be. And sometimes you got to fake it and push it until you can make it. And honestly, that's what I would tell people is, it's going to be hard. Some days it's going to be harder than others, and some days it's going to be easier. But if you keep pushing, you keep persevering, you don't give up, it makes the day by day, it makes it easier until it's come to a point where you are sitting like me and Marilyn, sitting in our truth and then talking about our stories and confidence and not ashamed of living with HIV, because that is not what makes us.
Ladies, thank you so much for your candid assessment. I'm trying to wrap up here. I'll be wrapping up, but I'm going to go back to you, Marilyn, someone who's newly diagnosed and struggled once again, and they're trying to stay on their treatment. Tell me how Choose You can help. Can it intersect and find help and support for them?
Absolutely. You can find more information on chooseyouhiv.com. That is the word choose, the letter U, HIV.com. You can find our stories, Kim and I's stories, and other stories about living with HIV, thriving with HIV. And not only that, I know that you asked a little bit about minimizing the risk of HIV. You can find education and resources in how to do that for yourself, because everyone is different. Everybody lives a different lifestyle. Head to the website, look it up, and educate yourself in what HIV is, and that would do it.
Yeah.
My final question to both of you, and I'll start with Kim first, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you've taken this journey. That's all life is. We just have different journeys, and you guys have alluded to that. What role has a belief in God played for you? If it's none, it's okay. If it's the only thing, it's okay also, too. So I'll start with you, Kim.
So I grew up, and thank you for asking the question, but also giving us the option to not answer. I don't mind. I grew up as a PK child. My grandmother was heavy as a pastor of her own church. Jesus Christ, it was the center of everything. And for me now as an adult, I do put a lot on the fact that is a big part of who I am, and I can't take that away from how I grew up. But I also do understand that, just like it says in the Bible, Jesus gives you the way, but I still have to make the way. I still have to take what he has given me and apply that. So for me, I don't rely everything onto him. I have to do the work. So that's how I move in my life.
Thank you so much for that prescription. Marilyn, I'll wrap up with you.
Yes, I didn't grow up in the church, but I did find comfort in God later on after my diagnosis. And I think that that's really pulled me through difficult days like today. It's been very difficult for me this week. And holding on to my faith and remembering why I'm here is really what keeps me going. But yeah, God has a big impact in my life. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be right now, for him and my children.
I want to thank you both for sharing something so personal with my audience. And you both were born for a time such as this. There has to be voices about things that happen to people. And you guys are a voice. You are a great voice. I want to thank you for stopping by the Valder Beebe Show. And I want to thank your producers for giving me time to explore your journey. Thanks for being my guest. And I'd love to hear what you guys just continue to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Valder Beebe, host of The Valder Beebe Show. We have over 1,000 videos on ValderBeebeShow.com and YouTube.com/Valder Beebe Show. We upload new videos daily. Our site is a modern baby boomer platform with news and information important to boomers. Subscribe to YouTube.com/Valder Beebe Show and stay connected as I interview the world's most fascinating people.